Hello, and welcome to another episode of Smergal Reads. It's been a while, for reasons unknown. Not to do with the fact that maybe I was fighting off some orcs or hiding, or may have lost the book for a bit. Don't tell anyone. So, we're now at Chapter 8, The Deadly Poopy Field. Oh, Poppy, you know. Yeah, I guess they were flowers? So better than what I originally thought they were. Yeah, that would have been disgusting. Okay. So, our little party of travelers awakened the next morning refreshed and full of hope. And Dorothy, breakfast like a princess off peaches. Didn't even know that was a term. And plums from the trees beside the river. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of plums. Behind them was a dark forest that they had passed safely through. Although they had suffered many discouragements. Many discouragements. But before them was a lovely, sunny country. Yeah, I think it's country. That seems to beckon them onto the Emerald City. Oh, how inviting. To be sure... oh, sorry about that. To be sure, the Broad River now cut them off from this beautiful land. But the raft was nearly done. And after the Tin Woodman had cut a few more logs and fastened them together with wooden pins, they were... they were ready to start. And Dorothy, who doesn't really do anything, sat down in the middle of the raft because apparently she's now the most important person because, she does nothing. And the help took her in her arms. When the Cowardly Lion stepped upon the raft, it tipped badly, for he was big and heavy. Are you calling him fat? But the Scarecrow and Tin Woodman stood upon the other end to steady it, and they were a long pole in their hands to push the raft through the river. They got along quite well at first, but when they reached the middle of the river, the swift current swept the raft downstream, farther and farther away from the road of the yellow brick, and the water grew so deep that the long poles would not touch the bottom. Probably because it didn't, think that that's a thing, but whatever. Oh, God, the cat's back. Go away! Go away, I'm trying to read! This is bad, said the Tin Woodman, for if we cannot get to land, we shall be carried into the... Let's move this over here. Into the country of the Wicked Witch of the West, and she'll enchant us and stupid camera, get back over there, and make us her slaves. And then I shall get no brains, said the Scarecrow, who all of a sudden became a zombie. And I shall get no courage, said the Cowardly Lion. And I shall get no heart, said the Tin Woodman. And I shall never get back to Kansas, said Dorothy. We must certainly go to the Emerald City if we can. There's nothing, well, actually, I don't think either one's going to be bad, but at this point, you guys are just assuming these things. For all you know, the Wicked Witch of the West could actually be really nice. Because all you keep doing is what other people told you, and they're not really reliable. We must certainly get to the Emerald City if we can, the Scarecrow continued, as he pushed so hard on his long pole that it stuck fast in the mud at the bottom of the river before he could pull it out again or let go. The raft was swept away, and the poor Scarecrow was left clinging to the pole in the middle of the river. Goodbye! I think I misspelled that word. He called after him, as they were very sorry to leave him indeed. The Tin Woodman began to cry, but fortunately, he remembered that he might rust, so he dried the tears on Dorothy's apron, much to her disgust. And of course, this was a bad thing for the Scarecrow. I am now worse off than when I first met Dorothy. I should have never gone with her. He thought, then I'd be stuck on a pole in Hartford, where I can make believe scare the crows. At any rate, but sure there's no use for a Scarecrow stuck on a pole in the middle of the river, and I'm afraid I shall not have any brains at all, after all. Yeah, this is why you don't, follow people who are useless like Dorothy, who insults you. Down the stream, the raft floated and the poor scarecrow was left far behind. Then the lion said, "Something must be done to save us. Forget the scarecrow. I think I can swim the shore and pull the raft after me. If you will only hold fast to the tip of my tail." So he sprang into the water, and the Tin Woodman caught fast hold of his tail, where the lion began to turn page. Swimmers always marched toward the big shore. It was hard work, although he was so big, but by and by they were drawn out of the current. That's really weird. And then Dorothy took the Tin Woodman's long pole and helped push the raft to land. Well, we got there. Oh, forget about the scarecrow. You know, the casualties. You know, it happens. They're all tired when they reached the shore, and last stepped upon the pretty green glass, and they also knew the stream had carried them a long way past the yellow brick that led to the Emerald City. "What shall we do now?" asked the Tin Woodman as the lion lay down on the grass to let the sun dry him. "We might get back to the road in some way," said Dorothy, who finally does something. "The best plan would be to walk along the riverbank until we come across the road again," remarked the lion. So, when they were rested, Dorothy picked up her basket and they started along the grassy bank back to the road from which the river had carried them. It was a lovely country, with plenty of flowers, fruits, and trees, and sunshine to cheer them. Had they not felt so sorry for the poor scarecrow, they could have been very happy. Yeah, they just left him. No big deal. They walked as fast as they could, Dorothy only stopping to pick up a beautiful flower. Yeah, because apparently the flower is more important than the scarecrow. If I left one of my buddies, if I had any friends, in the middle of the river, I would be going back for him. Go! Stop picking stupid flowers! And after a time, the Tin Woodman cried, "Look!" And they all looked at the river and saw the scarecrow perched upon its pole in the middle of the water, looking very lonely and sad. "What can we do to save him?" asked Dorothy. The lion and the woodman both shook their heads, as they did not know, so they sat down upon the bank and gazed wishfully at the scarecrow until a stork flew by, which, seeing him, stopped to rest at the water's edge. "Who are you, and where are you going?" asked the stork. "Very convenient." "I am Dorothy," answered the girl, "and these are my friends, the Tin Woodman and the Cowardly Lion, and we're going to the Emerald City." "This isn't the road," said the stork. "Yeah, no duh." Stupid stork doesn't even know it. She twisted her long neck and looked sharply at the party. "I know it," returned Dorothy. "But we have lost the scarecrow and we're wondering how we shall get him again." "Oh, where is he?" asked the stork. Over there in the river, right where we left him like an hour ago," answered the girl. "If he wasn't so big and heavy, I would be able to get him for you," remarked the stork. "He isn't heavy a bit," said Dorothy eagerly, "for he is stuffed with straw, and if you can bring him back, we shall thank you ever so much." "Well, I'll try," said the stork. But if I find him too heavy and I can't carry him, I shall drop him in the river again." That actually might be kind of funny. So the big bird flew into the air and over the water until she came where the scarecrow was perched upon the pole. Then the stork with her great claws grabbed the scarecrow by one arm and carried him up the river and back onto the bank, where Dorothy and the lion and Tin Woodman and Toto were sitting. When the scarecrow found himself among friends, again he was so happy that he hugged them all, even the lion and Toto. And Toto stole his arm. And as they walked along, he sang, "Toldy we da." I don't even want to. Wow. At every step, he felt so happy. "I was afraid I should have to stay in the river forever," he said, "but the kind stork saved me. If I ever get any brains, I shall find the stork again and do some kindness in return." Yeah, her cooker. That doesn't matter to me. Yeah, they're just carrying her through that. Yeah. That's all right, said the stork, who was flying beside him. I'm always like to help anyone in trouble, but I must go now. My people need me. I'm just kidding. I must go now, for my babies are waiting in a nest for me. I hope you will find the Emerald City and that OZ to help you. Thank you, replied Dorothy. Gotta knock the camera over. Get back over here. There we go. And then the kind stork flew into the air and Zerd was outside. They looked along, listening to the singing of the brightly colored birds and looking at the lovely flowers, which now became so thick that the ground was carpeted with them. They were big, yellow, and white, and blue and purple blossoms, besides great clusters of scarlet poppies, which are so brilliant in color they almost dazzled Dorothy's eyes. Aren't they beautiful? The girl asked as she breathed in the spicy scent of the flowers. I suppose so, answered the Scarecrow. When I have brains, I shall probably like him better. If only I had a heart, I should love him, added the Tin Woodman. I always did like flowers, said the Lion. They seem so helpless and frail. But there's none in the forest so bright as these. Tin Woodman, I'm just gonna say one thing. You cry whenever you crush a bug, so yes, I think you probably care about flowers. I'm surprised Dorothy didn't pick them all because she'd rather pick them than save Scarecrow. They now come across more and more of the big scarlet poppies, and fewer of the other flowers. As soon as they found themselves in the midst of a great meadow of poppies. Now, it is well known that when there's so many flowers together, the odor is so powerful that anyone who breathes it can fall asleep. If the sleeper is not carried away from the scent of flowers, he sleeps on and on forever. Yeah, so basically they're like cats, because I somehow acquired a second one. He's like a few feet away from me, just sleeping. Aren't you gonna wake up anytime soon? Just looks at me and just goes back to sleep. Oh, cats, they're cute, but they're so annoying. But Dorothy did not know this, nor should she get away from the bright red flowers that were everywhere. About. So presently her eyes grew heavy, and she must sit down and rest to sleep. But the woodman would not let her do this. We must hurry and get back to the road of yellow brick before dark, he said. And the Scarecrow agreed with him. So they kept walking until Dorothy could stand no longer. Her eyes closed in spite of herself, and she forgot where she was, and she fell among the poppies fast asleep. I wonder if those flowers would do that. I wonder how many people have died from starvation, dehydration, just because they decided to walk into those. Not to self-plant poppies where all the orcs go. Could probably defeat them all. Okay. What shall we do? Asked the Tin Woman. If we leave her here, she will die. Well, just carry her out. The smell of the flowers is killing us as well. I myself can scarcely keep my eyes open. The dog is asleep already. Also, is anyone going to finish that dog? Because, I think it's dead. This is true. Toto has fallen down beside his little mistress, but the Scarecrow and Tin Woodman, not being made of flesh, were not troubled by the scent of the flowers. Run fast, said the Scarecrow to the Lion, and get out of the deadly flower bed as soon as you can. We will bring the little girl with us, but if you should fall asleep, you're too big to be carried. And we're just leave you here. You're not important to us. Neither. I think he's more important than Dorothy. This is my opinion. So the Lion aroused himself and bounded forward as fast as he could go. In a moment, he was out of sight. Let us make a chair with our hands and carry her, said the Scarecrow. So they picked up Toto, put the dog in Dorothy's lap, and they made a chair with their hands for the seat, and their arms for the arms, and carried the sleeping girl between them through the flowers. I don't know who wrote this, but that's a little weird. On and on they walked, and it seemed that the great carpet of deadly flowers that surrounded them would never end. They followed the bend of the river. At last they came upon their friend the lion, lying and fast asleep among the poppies. The flowers had been too strong for the huge beast, and he had given up, at last falling only a short distance from the end of the poppy bed, where the sweet grass spread in beautiful green fields before them. "We can do nothing for him," said the Tin Woodman sadly, "for it's much too heavy to lift. We must leave him here to sleep on forever, because we're not even going to try to move him." And perhaps he'll dream that he had found courage at last. "I'm sorry," said the Scarecrow. The lion was a very good comrade for one so cowardly, but let us go on." They carried the sleepy girl to the pretty spot beside the river, far enough from the poppy field to prevent her from breathing any more of that poison of the flowers, and they laid her gently on the soft grass and waited for the fresh breeze to awaken her. And so that is chapter 8. So it looks like they decide to leave the cowardly lion to his fate. Well, basically they got rid of the most useful of the companions. Well, that is chapter 8 of Wizard of Oz. Tune in next time, so hopefully it won't take me 6 months to do another chapter. So next time, this is Smergal Reads.